My dear friends, I am Paramahansa Yogananda. And what if I told you that the reason you struggle with money, with abundance, with prosperity has nothing to do with your education, your work ethic, your circumstances, or even the economy, but everything to do with invisible karmic patterns embedded in your consciousness from lifetimes you cannot consciously remember? This is not another motivational speech about positive thinking or visualization exercises that leave you feeling temporarily inspired but ultimately disappointed. This is the actual mechanism of how karma blocks the flow of divine prosperity into your life, revealed through decades of deep meditation and direct communion with the cosmic laws that govern manifestation. What I am about to share will completely shatter everything you have been taught about wealth creation, and more importantly, it will give you a precise spiritual technique to dissolve the karmic barriers that have kept you in financial limitation, regardless of how hard you have worked or how many strategies you have tried. Before we dive into this sacred knowledge, I need you to activate your receptivity by writing in the comments right now, I dissolve all karmic blocks to prosperity and align with divine abundance. Write this declaration immediately, because what happens when you make this statement is not superstition, but actual science of consciousness. Your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your behavior and attracts your external circumstances, begins to shift the moment you declare your intention with conviction. The universe responds to commands issued from the authority of your divine nature, not to desperate pleas issued from the fear of your ego. Write it now and let me reveal to you the hidden truth about karma and wealth that no financial advisor, no business guru, no self-help teacher has ever explained to you, because they themselves do not understand the deeper spiritual mechanics at work. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because this will explain why you have seen other people with less talent, less intelligence, less effort than you accumulating wealth effortlessly, while you struggle endlessly despite doing everything right according to worldly wisdom. You have been taught that wealth comes from hard work, from good ideas, from opportunity, from connections, and while these things play a role in the physical manifestation, they are not the root cause of prosperity. The root cause exists at the karmic level, in the vibrational signature that your consciousness carries from all your previous incarnations. Every soul incarnates with a specific karmic pattern related to money, abundance, and material resources. This pattern was created through your actions, thoughts, and attitudes toward wealth in countless previous lifetimes. If in past lives you hoarded wealth selfishly, refused to share with those in need, used money to manipulate or control others, or accumulated resources through exploitation and harm, you created what the ancient yogis call a karmic debt related to prosperity. This debt does not mean you are being punished by some external judge. It means your own consciousness, seeking balance and evolution, has arranged for you to experience limitation in this lifetime, to learn lessons about generosity, humility, trust in divine providence, and the proper relationship between the soul and material resources. But here is what makes this teaching revolutionary rather than fatalistic. You are not helpless before your karmic patterns. Through the science of Kriya Yoga and the techniques of conscious reprogramming that I have brought from the Himalayan masters, you can actually dissolve these karmic blocks and realign your consciousness with the infinite abundance that is your true nature as a divine being. The universe is not scarce. God is not stingy. Divine consciousness is infinite abundance, infinite creativity, infinite supply. When you experience lack, limitation, financial struggle, it is not because the universe has denied you prosperity. It is because your own karmic patterns are blocking the natural flow of abundance that wants to pour into your life. Think of it like a kinked water hose. The water pressure from the source is unlimited, but the kink prevents the water from flowing through. Your karmic patterns are the kink. The technique I'm about to give you is how you remove that kink and allow divine prosperity to flow into your experience effortlessly and naturally. Now let me take you deeper into understanding exactly how these karmic blocks operate in your consciousness, because until you understand the mechanism, you cannot effectively work with it. Your subconscious mind, which the yogic tradition calls the chitta, stores every experience, every emotion, every thought, every action from not just this lifetime but from all your previous incarnations. These stored impressions create what we call samskaras, the deep grooves of habit and tendency that shape your automatic responses to life. When it comes to money and wealth, you have samskaras that were formed through your historical relationship with material resources across many lifetimes. If you experienced poverty and starvation in previous lives, your subconscious carries a deep terror of lack that makes you either hoard money compulsively or sabotage wealth when it comes because some part of you believes you do not deserve it or that having it will lead to loss. If you are wealthy but corrupt in past lives, your subconscious may reject wealth in this life as a form of karmic correction, creating unconscious blocks that prevent money from flowing to you no matter how much conscious effort you make to earn it. These patterns operate completely below your awareness. You do not consciously think I am blocking wealth because of karma from past lives. Instead, what happens is you find yourself making decisions that seem logical in the moment but consistently lead to financial limitation. You choose careers that do not pay well but feel safe. You sabotage opportunities for advancement because of unconscious fear. You spend money impulsively whenever you accumulate any surplus because deep programming tells you that holding wealth is dangerous or wrong. You attract relationships and situations that drain your resources because your vibrational frequency is tuned to lack rather than abundance. All of this happens automatically, driven by karmic programming buried in your subconscious, and no amount of conscious willpower or positive thinking can override it because you are trying to change the effect without addressing the cause. This is why affirmations about wealth usually fail. This is why vision boards and manifestation techniques produce temporary excitement but no lasting results. This is why financial education helps you understand money intellectually but does not change your actual financial reality. You are working at the surface level of conscious thought while the real problem exists in the depths of subconscious programming. It is like trying to change the reflection in a mirror by touching the glass instead of changing what stands before the mirror. Your external financial circumstances are the reflection. Your subconscious karmic patterns are what stand before the mirror creating that reflection. Until you change the karmic patterns, the reflection cannot permanently change, no matter how much you manipulate external circumstances. But through the practice of prayer yoga and the specific technique I'm about to teach you, you gain direct access to your subconscious programming. You learn to enter states of consciousness where the barrier between your conscious and subconscious mind dissolves, where you can implant new commands directly into the deeper levels of your being, where you can actually dissolve the karmic samskaras that have been blocking prosperity and replace them with new patterns aligned with divine abundance. This is not theory. This is practical spiritual science that I have personally verified through decades of intensive practice and taught to thousands of students who have experienced radical transformation in their financial lives, not through new business strategies or harder work, but through shifting their karmic relationship with wealth at the level of consciousness itself. Here is the complete practice that will dissolve your karmic blocks to prosperity and realign you with divine abundance. Starting tonight, you must establish this routine with absolute consistency for at least 30 consecutive nights. 1 hour before sleep, withdraw from all stimulating activities. Turn off all screens. Discontinue intense conversations. Stop consuming information that agitates your mind. Sit comfortably and practice 20 minutes of meditation. If you know Kriya Yoga techniques, practice your Kriyas with full attention. If not, simply focus on your breath, watching the inhalation and exhalation without trying to control or manipulate it, gently returning your attention to the breath whenever your mind wanders into thought. This meditation period is essential because it begins to quiet the surface chatter of your conscious mind and open the doorway to your subconscious programming. After meditation, prepare for sleep mindfully, treating each action as sacred rather than mechanical. As you lie down in bed, take 3 deep breaths, tensing your entire body on the inhale and releasing all tension on the exhale, allowing your physical form to become completely relaxed and receptive. Now comes the crucial moment. In the 60 seconds before you allow yourself to drift into sleep, you must enter a state of absolute quietude. This is the state where your conscious mind has relaxed its vigilant control, but you have not yet fallen unconscious into sleep. In this threshold state, the gateway to your subconscious stands wide open, and whatever you impress upon your deeper mind with feeling and conviction will be accepted as absolute truth and begin to reorganize your reality to match that new programming. In this sacred moment, speak these words directly to your subconscious with complete authority and emotional intensity. I command all karmic blocks to wealth to dissolve now. I am the infinite abundance of God made manifest. Money flows to me effortlessly from expected and unexpected sources. I receive with gratitude and give with joy. My prosperity serves divine purpose and elevates all beings. This is not my desire, this is my identity. This is not my hope, this is my reality. I decree it done. The specific words matter less than the feeling and conviction with which you speak them. You must feel these statements as already true, not as something you hope will become true. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between an actual experience and a vividly imagined experience accompanied by intense emotion. When you declare your abundant identity with total conviction in this receptive state, your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins immediately to reorganize your thoughts, behaviors, decisions, and the opportunities you attract to match this new identity. After making this declaration, release all mental effort and allow yourself to drift naturally into sleep. Do not lie there wondering if it worked or trying to figure out how the manifestation will occur. That analytical activity of the conscious mind actually blocks the process. Your job is to plant the seed through the nightly command. The universe's job is to orchestrate the manifestation through means you cannot predict or control with your limited intellect. Trust the process completely. Practice this technique for 30 consecutive nights without missing a single night, because consistency is what creates the deep grooves of new programming that override the old karmic patterns. If you miss a night, you must start the 30-day count over from the beginning, because you are building momentum in your subconscious that requires uninterrupted repetition to establish firmly. Within 24 hours of beginning this practice, you will notice the first signs that something has shifted in your consciousness. These signs may be subtle, so pay attention. You might suddenly think of an old debt someone owes you that you had forgotten about, and that person contacts you unexpectedly to repay it. You might find money in a pocket or drawer that you did not know was there. You might receive a small unexpected refund or discount. You might have an idea for generating income that never occurred to you before. You might feel different about money itself, less anxious, less grasping, more trusting, more relaxed. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that your vibrational frequency related to wealth is already beginning to shift. The universe is responding to your new command by sending you immediate evidence that the technique is working. Acknowledge these signs with gratitude, because gratitude amplifies the frequency of abundance and accelerates the manifestation of larger financial blessings. As you continue the practice over 30 days, the changes will become more pronounced. Opportunities you had given up on suddenly reopen. People you had not heard from in years contact you with proposals. Your intuition about financial decisions becomes sharper and more reliable. You find yourself making better choices automatically without having to struggle or force yourself. You begin attracting people, information, and circumstances that support your prosperity rather than drain your resources. Your relationship with money transforms from fear and scarcity to trust and sufficiency. And most importantly, wealth begins flowing into your life not through desperate hustle and exhausting effort, but through inspired action and natural alignment with divine abundance. You're not working harder. You're working from a different frequency where prosperity is your natural state, rather than something you have to chase and struggle to obtain. Let me be absolutely clear about something that confuses many people who study manifestation teachings. This practice is not about manipulating the universe to give you money so you can indulge selfish desires and live in luxury while others suffer. That mentality itself is a karmic block that will prevent the technique from working. True prosperity in the spiritual sense means having resources sufficient to fulfill your dharma, your divine purpose, your unique contribution to the elevation of consciousness on this planet. When you align with divine abundance, money comes not for hoarding or self-gratification, but as a tool for service, for supporting your spiritual practice, for helping others, for funding projects that bring light into the world. The universe responds generously to souls who want wealth for righteous purpose. It withholds from souls who want wealth for ego inflation and separation from others. As you practice this technique, examine your own motivations honestly. If you want money primarily to feel superior to others, to prove your worth, to buy things that impress people you do not even like, then you are still operating from ego consciousness, and your karmic blocks will remain in place. But if you want money to create freedom for spiritual practice, to serve humanity, to raise your family with dignity, to contribute to causes that matter, then you are aligned with divine will and the floodgates of abundance will open for you. I must also address the question of dharma and right livelihood, because this is intimately connected to your karmic relationship with wealth. Every soul incarnates with specific talents, inclinations, and purposes. When you use your natural gifts in service to others, doing work that genuinely helps people and contributes value to the world, you align with your dharma and money flows naturally as a byproduct of that alignment. But when you do work that violates your values, that harms others, that contributes nothing meaningful to the world simply because it pays well, you create new negative karma even as you accumulate money. And that money will ultimately bring you suffering rather than satisfaction. I have seen wealthy people who are miserable because their wealth came through means that damage their soul. I have seen people of modest means who are radiantly happy because their work aligns with their divine purpose. As you practice the technique I have given you to dissolve karmic blocks, also pray for guidance about your right livelihood. Ask in meditation, what is my dharma? How can I serve? What gifts do I have that the world needs? When you receive clarity about your purpose and begin moving in that direction, prosperity follows automatically because you are swimming with the current of divine will rather than against it. Now take action that will anchor this teaching in your being and signal to the universe that you are serious about transformation. Write in the comments section right now, I dissolve all karmic blocks and embody divine abundance. This is not a magic spell. This is the principle of Sankalpa. Focus intention backed by public declaration that activates forces in your subconscious and in the quantum field to support your stated goal. When you declare your commitment, you set energies in motion that begin working on your behalf even before you practice the nightly technique. Do it now and feel the shift in your energy as you make this statement. That feeling is real. It is your consciousness recognizing truth and beginning to reorganize itself around that truth. My beloved friends, you were not born to struggle with money. You were not incarnated to live in lack and limitation. You are a divine being made in the image of infinite abundance with the inherent capacity to attract all the resources necessary to fulfill your purpose on this earth. The only thing standing between you and the prosperity that is your birthright is the karmic programming buried in your subconscious. Through the practice I have shared with you tonight, you now have the key to dissolve that programming and step into your true identity as a prosperous soul. But this knowledge is worthless if you do not apply it. The universe does not reward passive consumers of information. It rewards those who take sacred knowledge and put it into consistent practice with faith and devotion. Starting tonight, implement this technique without fail for 30 consecutive days. Do not analyze, do not doubt, do not question. Simply practice with full commitment and watch as your financial reality transforms in ways that will astonish your rational mind. But confirm what your soul has always known. You are one with infinite divine abundance. And when you align with that truth at the deepest level of consciousness, the entire universe conspires to reflect that truth back to you in the form of material prosperity that serves your highest purpose and the good of all beings.